Good evening and welcome to the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione, round 1 of the Intercontinental Series in the 2-1 category. Takes us to Laguna, Seca, situated in California. And we are just in the final moments of practice before qualifying gets underway. I'm Tom Cans in the commentary box, giving you the details for tonight as we watch GTJ come through turn number 6, I believe. He's now coming towards the corkscrew. In fact, that was turn 6 he went through there, and the next corner he'll be going to is the corkscrew. Currently third so far at the moment is GTJ, so putting some good lap time so far. The top 5 separated by a 10th. Feel free to get involved in the live chat if you ever so wish. Apparently this is season 3 of the Intercontinental Series. I'm just looking to see who won it last season in Tier 1. And there you can see Marty, who's just finished his last time lap, just pulling over to the side. And then we wait for the last couple of drivers just to finish off their laps. And there's Hutch running in 17th, over 3 seconds off the pace. So how tonight will work, because there'll be different weekend formats each week. It will span over 4 rounds, beginning in tonight, on a weekly basis.
Green light, go, go, go.
So we are at Laguna Seca tonight. Next week is Kyalami. And then we head to Suzuka in Japan, and then we finish off at Mount Panorama. Now tonight it'll be a 30-minute qualifying session, or 15 minutes I should say. As far as I know, I think it was going to be 30 minutes. I think they decided to reduce it. They probably didn't feel that they need to expand it to that long. But we'll see as the session progresses. 15 minutes is probably just about right, to be honest with you. You can see most of the cars on circuit. Change the camera angle actually so that we get a better view of what's happening on circuit. So Slow, who's running in the Aston Martin. Of course, all the drivers are running GT4s. And that's Slow going off circuit there, so we'll probably just let Simon go past. So Simon begins a lap now, so we'll ride on board with him. So he makes his way through turn 1, no problem. He's down to second gear before he smoothly applies the throttle. So gear for turn 2, 115 kilometers an hour. As he heads for turn 3, the right-hander. Faster turn to get through, and then up 200 kilometers an hour before shifting down to third gear for turn number 4. or 5 rather. Turn 6 is a left-hander, 130 kilometers an hour. He's on through there in 3rd gear. Up to 4th gear again before he arrives at a corkscrew. Apply the brake just before that outside curb. You turn in to the blind chicane. Down nice and early, no problem. Turns in early for turn number 9. Placed his car on the outside for turn 10. Nicely done that from Simon. And now he heads towards the final corner of turn 11. Down to 65 kilometers an hour. On the throttle on the pit straight. And his first lap time in this qualifying session is a 1:32.3. So Simon, the man to catch so far. Let's see how the others are getting on. Well, Slow's on second and we're 1:33.1. Parker's dropped down to 4th place because Robin is just displacing, I should say. And now Freeman's gone second, 3 tenths behind the fastest man so far. So as watch Simon's GTJ goes fastest at a 1:31.7, nearly 6 tenths quicker than what Simon had posted. Fearless Freak coming round to complete his first time lap. Or start a lap, I should say. We've got one driver who's in the pits at the moment, that's Brood. Marty on a fast lap. There is Chris Sees, who's performed well in a lot of races in the GT4 Thursday Championship. Season has just gone by. Will Freeman coming close as well, although he didn't win a race at all in that championship. Drifter coming very, very close to the title. It was Cheese Monkey who came out on top in the Tier 1 championship as Drifter gets out of the way, and that's Cesar in the BMW. And number 27. And Freeman goes top with a 1:31.7. He was able to improve on his previous effort. And Simon running in 3rd place. Mariola now goes 4th with a 1:31.9. So lap times are coming down at the moment. Now the fastest time that we saw in practice was a 1:31.7. So that's the kind of figure we're aiming for. In fact, we've beaten that so far, fractionally by Freeman. There's Fearless Freak coming through in the Porsche, heading towards the last turn. Now, as far as in terms of teams and drivers are concerned, I think it's every driver for themselves in this championship. So we'll run through each driver as we go through the grid once qualifying has finished. And Fearless has gone 12th with a 1:31.7. Phil Freeman's gone top with a 1:31.5 in the Audi. So finding some time everywhere he can find, really. As Drifter, we expect him to be going for pole. Very, very quick. He missed the first couple of rounds, actually, in Season 4 in GT4 Thursday. Had it not been for that absence, he probably would have won the championship. And if you also remember at Imola, in that double points round, he received a late drive-through penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And that cost him the race win, after which he dominated. He's gone 6th fastest at the moment with a 1:32.2. So 6 tenths away from the fastest. That time, Marty's gone 15th fastest with a 1:34.4. Brood is out on circuit at the moment. There is Cesar, who is coming through the penultimate turn. He's got one more corner to get through, and then we'll see the first lap time set by him. We expect him to be towards the back of the grid, so don't expect anything special from him, unless he can prove me wrong, of course. 16th fastest so far with a 134.2 for him. So there's definitely a lot of time to find so far. Brood has just started his flying lap now with over 7 minutes to go. And Will Freeman's gone quicker again with a 131.3. So the lap times are continuing to get faster and faster and faster as the track continues to evolve. You see he's running in second. And Simon's gone sixth with a 131.7, 4/10 away from pole. Freeman in fourth place. Mariola doing a fine job so far in the Porsche, running in third place. He's got Drifter right behind him, actually. So Mariola will cross over the line. Do we see him improve his lap time? No, we don't. But Drifter's gone second with an identical lap time to Will Freeman, to the nearest thousandth of a second. Remember Jerez 1997, anyone? If you haven't, go check it out. That's Formula 1 for you, in case you were wondering. So here's Brood in the BMW. It's got 2 more turns to get through. And Brood crossing over the line to go 11th fastest, 9.5 tenths away from pole. His lap time was a 132.2. And car number 9 is coming through the last turn now. That is Simon. He appears to be on a faster lap time. Let's see how he does here. Over the line he comes. He does go quicker by a tenth. Up to 5th place he goes. We've got someone else over the line. That is Freeman, who has just gone over the line. No improvement from him. We've got the number 69 of Robin heading over the line now. No improvement from him. See multiple drivers heading over the line. Mariola crossing over the line now. No improvement from him. Here's Chryses. And the number 226 of Marty heading over the line next. And he does improve to go 11th with a 132.2 also. So from Will Freeman on provisional pole to slow in 13th, separated by just over a second. Chryses over the line, no improvement from him. He stays 3rd quickest. And we've got the number 27 heading over the line next. That is Thomas Dessart. And he goes 17th. It was a significant improvement from before. It was run about 6 tenths faster than what he did produce last time. And there's Williams there running in 16th, nearly 2 seconds off the pace. Don't know if he's on a faster lap. That's Hutch going for a little bit of off-roading. He gets back on track anyway without any more drama. GTJ rounding the last turn now in the BMW. Performed well in some races in GT4 Thursday last season. He goes top. Well, I say goes top. He doesn't actually improve, so I'd take my word back there. But here's Jamie, who's coming round the last turn. And this lap time of his is not good enough to see him move up the order, so he stays where he is. Mariola over. Got the 226 of Marty heading round. Can he maybe get within a second of provisional pole? No, he can't. So he stays where he is for now. The number 34 of Chryses is coming into the last turn. 3 minutes to go, so there's enough time to get another lap or so in. Chryses goes onto the front row of the grid. He's now a 10.5 away from Freeman's time. Freeman has just started another flying lap. I've got a number 27 heading over the line, so I think he's going to go for another lap here. He has produced a better effort. 14. He's now 1.8 seconds away from pole. So good effort from him there. And Brood 12th with a 132.2. With number 82, GTJ coming round. He's gone off the track, so I doubt he is actually going to have this lap time counting. Behind him is Freeman. Is he looking to improve here? He does improve. He goes to the front row. That was a big improvement. 4/10 in fact. So Freeman onto the front row of the grid alongside Will Freeman. We've got a few more drivers heading over the line now. Just looking to see who's actually improving. Mariola in 5th place. Fails to improve on that occasion, so he stays where he is. Number 41 of Williams does not improve his lap time, stays 17th. The 226, that is Marty, not quite improving either. Chris who's heading round onto the pit straight. Can he get back onto the front row of the grid? Not quite so. Stays in 3rd place. Number 27 of Cesar come around to complete a fast lap. He's got one more attempt if he wants to do it, if he's got enough fuel on board. No improvement from him, stays where he is. And Brood heading over the line now, does not improve, stays in 12th place. Next is the 82 GTJ. Brakes for the last turn in a straight line. We'll be down to 2nd gear for that part. GTJ over the line. Does he improve? Yes, he does. Goes 5th with a 131.5. GTJ moves on to the 3rd row of the grid. Mariola down to 6th place as a result of that. Robin over the line next in the Mercedes AMG. Stays where he is in 10th place. There is someone behind him who has just completed that. Is Jamie, who does not improve either. We've got the number 41 of Williams next behind. Can he move off the back row of the grid? Not quite so. And he pulls to the side. He decides his session has finished, and that's where he'll start on the grid. Marty, 10th fastest. I think he's improved his lap time slightly. So he's up to 10th now. And there's Will Freeman heading over the line next. And his lap time is not an improvement, so he stays only a 10th and a half clear of everyone else. But I think he's done enough to seal pole here. Drifter does not improve. GTJ looking to improve in the BMW. Runs wide though. He's off the track. And he will not improve any further. And Marty, meanwhile, is hoping for a better lap here. I doubt he's going to be going on pole. So he's coming around now, is Marty. So rounding the last corner now, can Marty get himself off the 5th row? And perhaps displaced does Parker in 9th. Here he comes over the line. Marty goes only P10. He did improve his lap time by around about half a tenth, but that was as good as it got for him. So Will Freeman's on pole position for the first race of the season. Freeman is alongside in P2. Then it's Chris and Drifter on the 2nd row, followed by GTJ and Mariola on row 3. Simon and Jamie are next, with Parker and Marty running up the top 10, all the top 10 within a second of each other. Robin 11th alongside Brood in 12th, then it's Slow in 13th ahead of Cesar on the 7th row next to him. Then it's Hutch and Freak on row 8, with Williams and Steve bringing up the rear. So there's no teams involved in this, it's just every driver for themselves. So, but they are all running GT4s. In regards to the point system, 40 points for 32 for third. Right, place finisher would get 1 point, but with 18 involved, should all of them finish, the 18th place finisher would get 3 championship points. There are no points for pole or for fastest lap. It's just the race finishing position that matters the most. So we're about to get on the way for the formation lap. It's an hour long, is this? And judging by the lap times that we have seen, we are aiming for around, I would say, looking at around maybe I'm just trying to work out my maths here, because looking at the lap times, it was around about a minute and a half, wasn't it? So if we say 9 minutes is 6 laps, by the time we get to 54 minutes, that'll be 36 laps, won't it? Plus an extra 4 would be in the 6 minutes. So that we're looking at around 40 laps of racing here in Kyalami. Bearing in mind there is a mandatory pit stop involved, so it could come down to maybe a 39 lap race, but we'll see. I just hope each of the drivers have got enough fuel on board for the race. So there's a mandatory tyre change, so drivers need to make sure they've got enough fuel to last the whole event. The last thing they want is fueling the car a lap or two short and then having to make a pit stop to make sure they get to the end of the race on. So we're around about 45 seconds away from the start of the formation lap. Now, in terms of the calendar for this season, it's Laguna Seca tonight with a 50-minute qualifying and 60-minute race. That includes a tyre change. That's mandatory. Next week in Kyalami, we've got 30
seconds.
We've got 2 races, both of which being 30-minute sprints with 10-minute quali prior to each. Then
20 seconds.
at Suzuka, we've got a 15-minute qualifying and a 60-minute race, so similar to what we're doing here in Laguna Seca.
10 seconds.
And then finally, Mount Panorama on the 17th of February. There'll be 3 20-minute races with 5-minute qualies happening before then. So it's going to be quite a tasty championship during the course of this season, with the field being so close. And from what I've been told, Cheese Monkey won the Intercontinental Championship in Season 2. He's not around tonight. He may not be around at all or something, but hopefully we'll see him in future rounds. So Will Freeman leads the field onto the formation lap to generate some tyre and brake temperature before this race gets underway. 60 minutes with a mandatory pit stop involved. The drivers can take that anytime they want, really. Failure to do so will result in a disqualification, I would have thought. Maybe even just a time penalty, but my personal belief is that it could result in a disqualification. Let me know how you are. Do feel free to get involved in the live chat. Send us your questions. So Will Freeman looking to get off to the best possible start here. Keep his car out of trouble. He knows there is a long race ahead of him. There's no safety cars in this game either, so you have to be at the top of your game to do well in this championship, or on this game in general, quite frankly. So the field are about to get into their rows of two before this race gets underway. So Freeman back in the field up, raring to go here. We are underway then here at Laguna Seca for round one of the championship. Will Freeman through the king as they come towards the Andretti hairpin. Leads ahead of Freeman. And then it's the 34 of Crises who's going to the inside of the Audi. And Crises is through into second place. So Freeman down to third position. And Drifter is looking to pounce also in the Chevrolet. So far so good. No incidents as far as we know. So we've got Will Freeman in the lead so far. There may have been a coming together actually between Marty and Robin, but they've both continued. So Freeman looking to pull away at the start. And Drifter under threat from GTJ in the fight over fourth place. And that's someone running wide there. Who's that that's running wide? That's Jamie, who's lost a couple of positions as a result of it. In fact, he's lost 4-5 places by running wide there. So Jamie down to what is, I think that's now 14th place, because it looks like Freak has just got ahead of him. So a terrible start there to Jamie's race. And that's the Chevrolet, I think, who's had a bit of a moment. We'll wait and see as the race progresses. So Will Freeman coming round the 11th and last turn of this track in the race lead, with Crises in second place. Then it's Freeman third, followed by Drifter and GTJ. Simon's in sixth position, ahead of Mariola and Parker 8th, Hutch 9th, and Brood in the top 10. I think Robin and, oh, you can see the damage there, Robin's car, and I think Marty's going to be in the pits at the end of this lap also to repair some damage. So those two already out of sync with the rest of the field. There's a long way to go yet in this race, so if I was them, I would choose to carry on. I suppose they can take their mandatory pit stops now, and that way they don't have to pit in again before this race is over. They want to get out before the field get round to lap them. Freeman continuing to lead. The gap is 8/10 over Crises as they come through the corkscrew. Ran wide there a little bit there, did Freeman. That's going to allow Crises to close right up on him a little bit. So as they come round to turn. Now onto the pit straight. And they're going to start their third lap of the race. Robin and Marty are both still in the pits at the moment, so we'll want to think about get back on track right now, otherwise they're going to fall too far behind. Well, Robin's not moving at the moment, and neither is Marty, so that could be their race's run, if I'm honest with you. They've been so far down the field. Well, I can tell you that Marty's done his stop now, so he'll be rejoining in 17th place. And what about Robin? What's he doing? He seems to have sustained more damage than what Marty has done, so I'd like to think he's going to be joined. Yeah, he's just done his stop now, so he's going to be rejoining the circuit behind Marty. So at least he's got a little bit of a battle on circuit he can have before the field do duck into the pits for their mandatory pit stops. And by the time they all do, Marty and Robin will be back on the lead lap, but they'll still be so far behind. Long way to go yet, though. Freeman's lead is just under 3:10 to the moment. Chris Cressis is right on the tail. And look at that, Freeman running wide there through the corner. He'll have to cut the corner. And Cressis alongside, and he's through into the lead. So on that 3, Cressis takes advantage of Freeman's error, and he's through into P1. Freeman right behind Will Freeman now as they fight over second place. And there's Drifter keeping in touch. Think about when to go for a move. Doesn't do anything unnecessary at this moment in time. He knows there is a long race ahead of him. Simon doing well in 6th position. It's Mariola in the Porsche with Parker in 8th, Slow 9th, and Brood in 10th place. There you've got Hutch, who's had a little bit of an error on the exit of the last turn, and Jamie's just got in front of him. So Hutch down to 12th place. Williams in 14th, Freak in 15th, followed by Steve, who's staying in touch with him. I think Marty at the moment will just be thinking about trying to set some fastest laps whilst catching up to the rest of the field. And it looks like Freeman and Drifter have got past Freeman, so Freeman's made another mistake on this lap, hence why he's dropped back. We're getting a real... Oh, that's coming together! That is Freeman and GTJ has gone for a spin. So there's been a coming together between those guys. I want to get a good look at that because they seem to have come together on the exit of turn 4, and they've dropped down the order big time there. Now, they've gone past the first sector already, and it doesn't look like they are moving at the moment. And I think one of them's pulled out of it. Well, GTJ's carried on, but Freeman's race is over, so Freeman out of the race, unfortunately. That's a terrible shame for him, and not a good start to his season. GTJ down to 15th place now. Cressis pulling clear with Drifter now 2nd place. Freeman back up to 3rd with Mariola 4th, and it's Simon ahead of Parker. What a bizarre incident there between Freeman and GTJ. Field come through. Turn number 2. This is turn 1, by the way, in case you're running. There is a kink before the drivers come through the Andretti hairpin. And Simon running in 5th place. So yeah, no Freeman involved, unfortunately. He had a coming together with GTJ on the previous lap, and he just retired straight away. So one of he sustained a substantial amount of damage, enough to end his race. Just out in front. And GTJ trying to get back in the action. Williams has passed Freak for 11th position. Next man ahead of him is Hutch. And there's Jamie running in 9th, Brood 8th. Parker in 7th. And that's Slow, who's running in 6th place now. Doing very well, keeping his car out of trouble. And there's Simon, who's running in 5th. Behind Mariola. So Cressis' lead is 1.6 seconds on lap 6 now. Now I wonder who will decide to make a move for a pit stop out of all the leaders. Cressis doing a good job up front. Simon, who's running in 5th behind Mariola, will ride on board with him for a moment as they come up towards the corkscrew. Now, does Mariola stay ahead for now? He does. Now they come through turn 9. Simon staying with him. Waiting for a mistake, taking a slightly different line. Get a better exit than the Porsche. He had a little look there, but Mariota shot in the door on him on this occasion. As they start their 7th lap. Simon not able to make a move at this moment in time. Oh, and Mariota's run wide there at the hairpin, and Simon nearly getting in front there. That'll help him a little bit. Takes a slightly wider line approaching turn 3. He's not able to get in front on this occasion. He's come out of turn 4. And it looks like Williams has dropped down the order actually. Yes, he has. He's dropped down to what is... Oh, that's Hutch actually. Hutch has dropped down the order. So Hutch seems to have had a bit of a problem somewhere, and he's fallen behind Williams, who made a mistake earlier. So both have dropped down the order, unfortunately. So GTJ's up to 12th place. He's already got past Fearless Freak. I think Fearless Freak may have had a coming together with Williams. So GTJ making up a few positions as a result of it. But he's run wide though, has GTJ. That won't help his car one bit. He needs to be careful not to rejoin into the path, and it's a coming together between him and Fearless Freak. Now GTJ has to take every bit of responsibility for that, because he rejoined in a dangerous manner. That will be under investigation by the stewards for sure. That was so silly from GTJ by the way he rejoined back onto the racetrack. He knew there was a car coming, and Fearless Freak will be absolutely furious with him for sure. That is poor driving standards. So Drifter in 2nd place ahead of Freeman. Mariola 4th ahead of Simon. Slow ahead of Parker, who has just lost a position there to Jamie, who's moved up. And Brood has also got past the Mercedes AMG. So I wonder if Parker's had a bit of an issue somewhere. He's lost some form of momentum. He's carrying on for now anyway. And GTJ and Fearless Freak are both in the pits with damage. So it's no surprise to see them in there. So Cassie's coming round to lap the 2 drivers stuck in the pits at the moment, GTJ and Fearless Freak. So at least that'll give Marty and Robin a bit of hope to move up a couple of positions. So Cassie's still leading. And Freeman staying in touch with Drifter in the fight for P2. Drifter running wide there, and that's going to open the door for Freeman to pull in. But I think Drifter's going to have a better exit, so he stays in 2nd place. Simon ahead of Slow, and Mariella in 4th, and Jamie in 7th ahead of Brood. Parker's in 9th and Cesar 10th. Steve in 11th position. It's Williams and Hutch. And Fearless Freak is coming back out on circuit now. And he's down in 14th place. GTJ has not left his box yet, but he has now. Marty will go back ahead of him. And I think Robin will get in front also. So Robin through, no problem. So GTJ down in 17th and last position. So Freeman in 3rd place behind the Chevrolet as they come towards the last turn. And Freeman on the inside as they come into the last turn. He had a look. The door was open for him to go through there. He decided better of it and not go for it. He waits for another opportunity. He gets into the slipstream of the Chevrolets. They begin lap number 10. Freeman to the inside. Drifter has already made his one change of direction before they get into the hairpin. And Drifter places his car nicely at the hairpin and stays in P2. Mariola running wide there, Simon closing a little bit. But Mariola runs wide and nearly contact between the pair of them. That could have ended in tears. Simon on the outside as they come towards turn 3. Mariola stays in front for now. But Simon will be back for more later on. Just change the camera angle again. I'm not a big fan of that particular camera angle, the way it pans across the screen like that. There's Parker running in 8th place, Cesar 9th, and I think Brood is in the pits for his mandatory pit stop. He's got a little bit of damage on the front there. So Brood will rejoin at the back in, well, he's in 13th place at the moment because Fearless Freak, Marty, Robin and GTJ are a lap behind him. Chris Ease is not though. He's the man out in front, 2.5 seconds clear of Drifter now. And Brood has done his stop now. He's just leaving the box and exiting the pit lane. And now the BMW is exiting the pit lane in 13th position. Now the pit exit, you can see the car feeds back in on the inside. And hopefully Brood won't have to deal with those that are ahead of him on the road. He's got a bit of a gap actually over them, so he should start to pull away on the fresher tyres. So Chris' gap is now 2.2, so Drifter closing back in a little bit. So we'll go to our helicam to see how the battle for second is coming along. So from what I've been told, that Drifter tangled with Freeman, that sent him into a spin, and GTJ got caught up in the aftermath of it. So that'll be something for the stewards later. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there was an inquiry in relation to that. Drifter continuing to lead. Well, in the battle for second place, I should say. It's Chris who's leading. As they come round to start another lap. We are now 17 minutes into this race. 11 laps done. And Simon's got in front of Mariola finally. So Simon is doing to 4th place. We didn't see the move, but we know the result of it. So Mariola down to 5th place. And Slow, who's doing a good job there in the Aston Martin in P6. Jamie closing him back in a little bit now. The gap between those two, once we see the timing page, is now 8.8 seconds. Parker holding up Cesar, who's doing a good job actually in the BMW, albeit some drivers have already pitted at the moment, but Cesar's kept his car clean throughout this race up to this moment. So he could be on course for some good points. There's Steve running in 10th, Williams and Harcher in a battle of their own in 11th and 12th. And there's Brood, who'll be hoping to get himself back on the lead, but he won't do so with a spin like that. He needs to be careful, do not rejoin into the path of other drivers, and thankfully he keeps his car out of the way. And does he carry on, or does he just wait for the field to go past? No, that's it, into the pits, and I think that's his race over. So Brood out of the race as a result of that, deciding not to carry on. Two and a half seconds is the gap between Chris and Drifter. And Slow is into the pits from 6th place. So he stops at his mark now. I just wonder where he's going to rejoin. He won't want to be down a lap on the leaders by the time he does rejoin. I don't think that's going to be the case. So we await for the tyre change to be done. And there's Fearless Freak who's coming back through. He's still another lap behind Slow, actually, so he's got a lot of ground to make up to in 13th place. Slow has done his stop now. And he'll rejoin in front of GTJ, who's a lap behind him. And looks like someone has gone for a spin. It's the 789 of Steve, who appears to have spun. Yep, there he is, look, off the track. And he'll rejoin behind Hutch now in P11. Not where he wanted to be. So that's allowed Cesar to go through into P7, closing up behind Parker now. So those two doing a fine job. So Crises pulling clear, a third of the way through now in this race. So Will Freeman in third place, half a second adrift of Drifter in P2. And if you remember, Will Freeman Drifter fought it out for the championship. Crises was right in there as well up until the penultimate round of the season at Paul Ricard. So it's actually no surprise to see them fighting at the front again. It'd been nice if Cheese Monkey was around, the reigning champion in this Intercontinental series. So we've just got two retirements so far, Freeman and Brood. Freeman after coming together with Drifter apparently. And Brood retiring after a spin off track following his pit stop. 16 still running, including GTJ, who is down a lap in 16th place. As Freeman comes in for his first pit stop. So this is an attempt of an undercut. Very hard to get through that last turn through the pit lane without actually touching the wall. Freeman will be hoping he can get out in some clean air, but it's going to be difficult for him to do that. Cesar's got past Parker now, so Cesar up into what will be 5th place once they go past Will Freeman. Cesar still yet to stop though, as Mariola goes past the Audi into P7. Williams also heading through. And Freeman has done his stop now and he's away. So can he get out in front of Steve, who's coming round? Probably not, to be honest with you. As we can see, who's that that's run wide there in that green livery machine? And it looks like Will Freeman's rejoined behind Steve. So Freeman down to 10th place with a lot of catching up to do. And he needs to get on with it here. He doesn't get stopped behind traffic, but I think he's going to. He gets out there in front of the Ginetta of Marti. And there's Freak, who's running in 13th. And Drifter's in. So a lap after Freeman's stop, Drifter is in. Now what will Crises decide to do? So Drifter responding to Will Freeman as he hopes to complete a clean pit stop. And Will Freeman, the number 8, is coming through the corkscrew now. And it looks like Parker is also in the Mercedes AMG. And Drifter has done his stop now. Now Freeman is through turn 10. That's Steve coming into the pits. That's one less car for Freeman to worry about. There's Drifter. There he is, look. Now, is Freeman going to get ahead of him? To be honest, I don't think he will. He's too far back. So Drifter effectively keeps hold of second place as he comes out of the pits. Into the hairpin they come. He'll have the inside line. He rejoins ahead of Will Freeman. Oh, he nearly got taken out there by Fearless Freak. He just avoided him. That could have been nasty there for Drifter. That could have been his race ruined, but thankfully it wasn't. Fearless Freak has rejoined. That was so close. That could have been nasty for Drifter. So he rejoins just ahead of the Audi. But I wonder, as we've got a car off the track, that's Mariola, who has made a mistake, but has rejoined by the looks of it, and we appear to... Oh, there he is, like he's off the circuit there. Has he got damage to his machine? Doesn't look like he has. But he has rejoined behind Cesar now. So Cesar is up into 4th place, and Williams has just got by him as well. So Cesar having a good race so far. Didn't expect him to get up that high. It's Jamie in 3rd place. Hasn't stopped yet, neither is Simon. Cassis has got track position at the moment, which you can make use of, as Mariole comes in from 6th place, as Freeman and Drifter... In fact, Freeman's got through. So Freeman ahead of Drifter at last. It was bound to happen at some point, but finally is through. There's a yellow flag somewhere, which has gone away. Well, no, it's not, as Parker seems to have gone for a spin. Yet to stop, of course. But he's lost a lot of time as a result of it. So Freeman now effectively in 2nd place. Can he go after Cassis for the race lead? And Cassis decides to pit in. He lightened the rear tyres. So desperate. You've got to be careful not to exceed the pit lane speed limit. So Simon will have a stint at the front. And Jamie will go past. Cesar will also head through. Williams as well. And Will Freeman aiming to get in front of Cassis. Cassis has not left his box yet, but he has now. In his away. And Will Freeman is coming around the last corner now, as is Drifter, so it's going to be very close. Cassis is coming towards the pit exit. Freeman on the pit straight now. Does he get through effectively into the race lead? The answer is yes, he's through. So Freeman able to complete an undercut on Cassis to take the lead effectively once everyone has done their stop. Can Drifter get through into what could be 2nd place? The answer is yes, he can. Side by side he goes with Cassis, but I think he'll have the inside line into turn 3. And Drifter is through past the BMW. So Cassis losing out horribly. Perhaps stayed out there a bit too long. And Freeman on the fresher tyres, or on tyres that are clearly gathered up more temperature than the others, is through what could be the race lead once everyone is pitted. And then Simon just putting a lap there on Parker, who's rejoined after his mandatory pit stop in 16th position. Having a good race today is Simon. Jamie in 2nd, there's Cesar 4th. Williams, one of 4 drivers yet to come into the pits. Not sure where he's going to rejoin by the end of this one, quite frankly. So we're on lap 19 at the moment. Simon is your current race leader. Drifter as Cassis dropping back a little bit from these two. Slow, who's running in 8th place on track. Could be in 4th place once all the stops are done. Let's not rule out Simon yet, though. He's got some clear track ahead of him, and he's doing very well. He's got 17.5 seconds over Jamie, who's also yet to stop. We're coming up to the halfway point in this race now. And Cesar in from 3rd place. And getting as much time as possible. Will Freeman, Drifter, Christie's will go past. I'm sure Slow will get through as well. Williams also coming in for his mandatory tyre change.
We're at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
So Will Freeman in 3rd place, Drifter in 4th. He's up to 5th now on track. Cesar, we're looking to exit the pits ahead of Slow, but that's not going to happen. So it looks though that Cesar will rejoin in 7th place. And it looks so that Williams is going to rejoin ahead of Mariella as well. So Williams on course for a top 8 finish as it stands. So Simon starting lap 21 with a handsome lead. Just 2 drivers have yet to take their mandatory pit stops, and those are the top 2. I think Simon will be targeting 4th place once he does rejoin, and of course he'll be on fresher tyres than most of the field, so he's got a chance maybe of a podium later on. And looking further down the field, Marty is back into 12th place, very much back in sync with the leaders it seems, although just look to see how far he's behind Hutch as they cross over the line. So as they head over the line now, Hutch in 11th, Marty in 12th. I think he's over a lap behind him actually, but we'll see as the race progresses. Can Marty get through? We're looking on the timetable. Marty is on the same lap as Hutch, so this is actually a battle for position. So Marty doing very well to get him back in sync with the rest of the field. He's running in 12th place, but can he make it 11th? If he was to get by him, he's got 24 seconds to make up on Steve, who's running in 10th. So Williams rejoining 8th place, nearly a lap down on the leader. They needn't to worry about Simon because Simon will be pitting in soon. Simon pushing ever so hard coming out of turn 3. He's not able to... Well, he is able to push, but he won't want to be pushing too much. And Freeman ahead of Drifter, and the top 3 earlier in the race seem to be spreading out a little bit now. And all of them know that points are crucial and will be crucial come the end of the season. There are 7 races in total, 1 tonight, 2 next week, 1 the week after, and 3 sprints, 20-minute sprints in the final round of the season at Mount Panorama in Bathurst, Australia. So when will Simon decide to pit in? Will he do it this lap? No, he carries on for another lap. Using every bit of track and then some to really, really eke out the margin over the others. And Jamie running in P2. He'll be contemplating about when to pit in. decides not to do so on this lap. Closest battle we've got on track is between Hutch in 11th and Marty in 12th. There's Robin and Fearless Freak fighting over 14th place. And Hutch is actually closing in a little bit on Steve, so one of those will close in on the Ginetta in the closing stages. So there is Simon coming up to lap the BMW of Cesar, who's running in P7. He's had a brilliant race, very clean. And I reckon we'll see more of that as the weeks come round as they do. And Simon's in then. So Simon from the race lead in for his mandatory tyre change. Now, because he stayed out longer than most of the other drivers, I wonder if this is going to be a shorter pit stop for him. Now, I just want to see if Jamie actually does take the lead from Simon, or does he come into the pits as well? Now he's coming in also, so Jamie also in, so Will Freeman will take back the lead of the race. And Simon waits in his box. Well, Freeman's only coming into turn 9 now. Now, on the graphic where it's orange and has the number 1 on it, once that goes green, that means Simon has done his stop. He's leaving his box, but he's not left his box yet. So Will Freeman will go past him, Drifter will go past him, Crises will go past him. So Simon should rejoin in 4th place once he has done his stop. And he's leaving the box now. And Slayer is coming into the last corner now, but Simon, I think, is going to do enough to keep hold of 4th place. And Simon leaves the pits now in 4th position, so he's on course, very comfortable 4th place finish. And Jamie will come round to rejoin in 6th place ahead of Cesar. So Mariola under threat from Williams. These two fighting over 8th place. I think Mariola may have just got in front of him, actually. He has done. So Mariola coming back a little bit. And there's Marty thinking about a move on Hutch for 11th place. Both drivers down a lap on the leader as we speak. Steve is running in 10th place. He's currently still on the same lap, although Will Freeman's coming around to lap him now. So we've got 22 minutes to go. So it's about an hour, a minute and a half at each lap. So we are currently looking at 39 laps, I would think, because of the pit stops we had. So Freeman, 15 laps away from victory, but can Drifter and Crises do anything to change that? Simon's a long way back in 4th place. I think he needs to focus on just finishing there rather than trying to close in on the top 3. He's 20 seconds behind those 3, so it's going to be too much of an ask for him to actually claw that time back. Will Freeman, 1.7 seconds clear of Drifter. The most important task for him is just keep his car on track. There is a back marker ahead of him, which is Steve. But once he gets by him, the next man ahead will be about another half a minute of the road. So Freeman should dispose of the Ginetta without a problem. It's highly unlikely we're going to be seeing drivers coming into the pits for a second tyre change. So it's all pretty much down to the finish here, and it looks though that Chris is closing back in on Drifter in the fight for second. He was leading the race earlier on before the pit stops, but his second set of tyres have not helped him that much, which has cost him not only the lead but second place as well. So he's making a move to the inside there, look, of Drifter. Does he go for it? Drifter shuts the door on him, coming into the Andretti hairpin. And so the Chevrolet remains in front for now. And Slow is closing a little bit, although he's just run wide there on the exit of the last turn. He was 2.7 behind the Mercedes. The gap is now 3.3, so he's lost time by running wide. And Chrysis is staying in touch with Drifter. He's on the inside there, look, as they go into the left-hander. Does Chrysis get through? No, he doesn't. Drifter closes the door once again. And Chrysis will have to really, really fight for this here. But whilst they're battling, Will Freeman is continuing to pull away. And we have a cockpit view of Chrysis as they look to stay in touch with Freeman, who's got by the back marker of Steve, so that's something which Drifter and Chrysis will have to negotiate. Look at Chrysis pushing ever so hard. He's just trying to get on the throttle sooner than Drifter. Look at that. Chrysis, you can clearly see he's closing in all the time, but he's just not able to make a move. Steve gets out of the way of Drifter. Does he see Chrysis in time? Yes, he does. Chrysis has to take a wider line there. Now he thinks about a move. He goes for it. Down the inside he goes. The two-way contact though. Chrysis surely he's through as CB spins round. Chrysis off the track. Tried to pass the Chevrolet. It didn't quite pay off. And as he tries to rejoin, he's lost it. That was far too ambitious there from Chrysis. Too far back to have a go. And he's paid the price for it. So he rejoins in third place as we watch Simon almost getting on laps there by what looks like Marty. Now, Marty's not actually fighting with him. I think Marty's just going in front of GTJ. So Marty up into 11th place ahead of the BMW. But that was a bad error there from Chrysis. He knew it was too ambitious. He perhaps maybe should have waited for another lap before making that move. It's too far off Drifter and Freeman now, so Drifter can breathe a huge sigh of relief and keep hold of second place. Freeman now 4 seconds clear with 18 minutes to go. Now, if you are watching the Formula Racing League on this channel, ACC, they do sell some merch, which you can get online, so ranging from caps, t-shirts, hoodies. You can all have a look on the Formula Racing League website, formularacingligue.co.uk/shop, and you'll be able to search for what you want. And if you haven't joined the Formula Racing League Assetto Corsa Competizione Discord, now is your chance to do so. And don't forget to like and subscribe as well whilst you are watching. So Chrysis 4.1 seconds now, so he's dropping back a little bit more from the Audi. So Freeman seems to have the race in his pocket, but one mistake from him could cost him the victory. But it's unlikely that he will be making a mistake. He didn't win a race at all last season in the GT4 Thursday Championship. Competed in all the races, but never actually had won. Simon 6 seconds behind Chrysis, who really is closing on him at the moment, so this could be a fight to look out for in the closing stages. Slow running in 5th place, SR just getting past there. That's the Mercedes, is that Parker who's just gone off track there. It's a Mercedes. It's actually Robin who's gone off track, and that's in this race. I reckon he'll be in the pits shortly, because there's no way he'll actually clear of Parker as they come through. Jamie's in the pits. Now, what's this? Jamie into the pits for the second time in this race. No, he was running up there in the top 6, I believe. Yeah, he was running in 6th place, and all of a sudden, not sure what's happened to him, but he's into the pits, and I think this could be race over for him. So he must have had an accident somewhere or gone off the track, lost a bundle of time, and he's coming to the pits, and his race could well be finished, actually. He may decide to come back out again. Robin into the pits. He's not going in at a very quick rate, to be honest with you. And he's coming in to retire as well. So Robin out of the race. That's 4 drivers out. Freeman retired earlier on. Brood also stopping in the pits, or retiring in the pits, following a spin coming out of turn 5. Or 6, rather. Jamie just stopping, also in the pits, and Robin also retiring. So 14 are still running. Parker running in 14th and last, but at least he's still on course to score some points. All finishers score points, remember, so if you know you're not going to finish high, at least try and get to the finish and actually bag some useful points. GTJ will be thinking about that also. 17 seconds behind Steve, so it's unlikely he will be catching him. He's got Marty closing in also. And there's Slow, who's 5 seconds adrift of Simon. Now, the gap we saw last time we could see Simon was 6 seconds. It's 5.8, so the gap seems to be stagnating somewhat as the laps continue to run down. And Freeman's gap over Drifter is now 5 seconds. The next man for Freeman to lap is the number 237 of Parker. So the top 8 are all on the lead lap. So the closest battle we've got out on track right now is between Mariola and Williams for 7th place, albeit that gap is 2.6 seconds. So I think the field will be thinking more about just getting their cars to the finish now. Keep the cars out of trouble, don't go off track, don't get any penalties. I don't think any drivers received any penalties in this race, which is decent, but I think given the incidents that we had earlier, I think we could be seeing a few books being thrown at drivers for collisions. Maybe the collision involving Freeman and Drifter, and possibly the one involving, I think, Fearless Frank, who rejoined into the path of one of the leaders, which wasn't particularly great. But more on that later, post-race, I would say. Less than 12 minutes to go. Freeman is expected to complete 8 more laps after this one, so looking very, very strong. Drifter could be relieved to get home in 2nd place. Drifter, Chryses is 15.7 behind. It looks like Simon's closed in on him now. It's 4.4 seconds between those two. Now, if you remember, Simon pitted in considerably later than the leaders, and that could explain his performance on his last stint. .6 seconds is the gap now, so Chryses very much losing time. I don't know whether the contact had done any damage to Precise's machine. But either way, Simon's closing in on him quite rapidly. Simon pushing ever so hard to correct an oversteer. It's 3.6 seconds now through sector 1. .3 seconds, so Simon was able to take half or about 0.3 of a second at least out of Precise's margin. 10 minutes to go here at Laguna Seca. Round 1 of 4 will be going to Kyalami next week, then Suzuka the week after, and then the season finale will be at Mount Panorama in Australia. And Simon's got the gap down to 3 seconds between him and Precise. So Simon really closing in now, but catching is one thing, passing is quite another. And Williams' gap over Mariola. Oh, and Williams runs off the track at the corkscrew. Now surely he's got to be careful, because he could get a time penalty for that. He could have received a time penalty by the way he overshot the corkscrew. But yeah, he's just gone off track. He needs to keep his car on the circuit, which he's struggling to do at the moment. Takes out the marker board there. Yeah, he just allowed Parker, who's a lot down on him, through. I think James just needs to get that car home now. And Simon's gap over Crusades has come down to 2.4 seconds. In sector 1. What's the gap now through sector 2? It's 2.2. This is really going on. Oh, and Simon runs wide though at the corkscrew. And he's got to be careful not to be exceeding track limits either. So we've seen a couple of drivers, if not more than that, pushing a little bit too hard. And the last thing they want is to be receiving time penalties. GTJ is into the pits. Now, is this for a tyre change? Or is this going to be the end of the race for him? We'll find out in a few moments. He may decide to call it quits, but with 8 minutes to go, surely he'll want to just get to the end of the race now. So Freeman, 5.7 clear. Precise in 3rd place. And it's Simon, who's 2.3 seconds behind. I think GTJ may not be going any further in this race now, so he's another one out. As Precise puts a lap on Steve. I think that's Steve, for which they've just got by. It is. So Steve is running in 9th place, being lapped by the 2nd place man. Well, Drift is closing. Precise is closing in on Drift. I got the two mixed up actually. Although Precise is being chased by Simon. I don't know why I keep thinking of Drift and Precise. I keep thinking that they're having a battle on circuit, but they're not anymore now. 2.1 seconds is the gap between Precise and Simon. Simon getting through the corkscrew nicely this time, not overshooting it. And Steve staying out of the way, so Simon goes through without an issue. And the gap does look closer than before. I would say it's looking at around just under 2 seconds, but we'll find out as they cross over the line. Precise in 3rd and Simon in 4th. And the gap is just under 1.9 seconds now, with 6.5 minutes to go. And Freeman's gap over Drift has come back down slightly. 4.4 seconds is the gap between those two. Now Will Freeman will be coming up to a few back markers shortly. Parker, who is just behind Mariola, who's a lap ahead of him. And the number 41 Williams has got by Mariola for 7th place. So Williams making up time. for the present moment. We'll go back to the battle for third place because Chryses is under threat from Simon. Simon's 1.6 seconds adrift. This is going to go right to the very end. Simon just about keeping his car within the chat limits. And the gap in sector 2 is now 1.2 seconds. So Simon really is closing in. Chryses is very much going to be under pressure now. That mistake, following his come together with Drifter, could cost him big time here. Simon really is closing in like a rash here. Right on board with him as they make their way through turn 11. So the gap between those two over the line is just under 0.6 of a second, so probably won't bother with the gap now. The gap is hardly relevant. So into the Andretti hairpin, Chryses runs wide, Simon closing in on him a little bit. Now he's thinking about a move. We'll come back to the normal camera and see if Simon can complete this move. Now, where does he go for it? I would probably say maybe the corkscrew, or maybe into the Andretti hairpin of turn 2. So Chryses holding firm, but how long can he keep hold of it? Because Simon really is closing in on him, and this could change come the end of the race. Freeman is about to start his 37th lap. 3 laps to go for him. And Simon will have 3 laps to complete and move on Chryses to go up to the podium. It's been a great effort from Simon today. Hardly been involved in any trouble. Now he's surely got a good run on Chryses here. Can he do what Chryses tried to do on Drifter and pull off a clean manoeuvre into turn 1? Simon goes for it, probably too far back. He does make contact. That was probably too aggressive of a bump. It seems to have got away with it, and Chryses survives for now. So 4 turns. Oh, Simon's off! Simon has hit the barrier, and surely that's damaged the car. Yeah, the bonnet's damaged, the front end is damaged, so car performance will drop, and Chryses can breathe a huge sigh of relief. But Simon's mistake was so costly there, and now he's got to be watching his mirrors because Slow will be closing on him now. Now Slow will feel like this is going to be a chance for him to close in on the Mercedes. The gap is now 5 seconds. It was 11 seconds, but it's now 5 thanks to Simon's error. And Simon will just want to bring his car home in 4th place now. He got the power down a little bit too soon. Had to correct some oversteer. It just sent him into the wall off the track. And now he's got a fight in his hands to keep hold of 4th position ahead of this man, Slow, in the Aston Martin. The gap is now just under 4.7. There's only 2 laps to go now, so I think Slow's going to run out of time to make a move. There's your leader, Will Freeman, on course for victory. He took pole earlier, and now he's going to take victory by a commanding margin, let's say, over Drifter. So Freeman is about to start the last lap of the race in P1.
Right, man. Leader is on the final lap. Give it all you can.
So it's been a brilliant performance today from Freeman. Lost the lead at the beginning, but then brought it back after the pit stops. And he's done very well to keep hold of it from there. So Steve running in 9th, Marty 10th, Hutch 11th, Fearless 12th, and Parker will be the last of the finishes in 13th place. Freeman nearly dropping it there, almost doing what Simon did a moment ago. You won't want to be making too many mistakes like that. I just hope the whole field has left enough fuel on board to get to the end without slowing down or needing to back off. But here's Freeman, who's coming through the corkscrew for the last time. Less than 5 seconds in front of Drifter. He's got 2 more corners to get through now, and you can see that checker flag waiting for him. So Freeman will start the Intercontinental Series in style, Season 3. He'll lay down a mark on all the others to catch him. Freeman exiting the last turn, and he's going to take the checker flag to win the Tier 1 race here at Laguna Seca. Freeman has won. A brilliant performance by him. It's been a long time coming since his last victory in the Formula Racing League ACC, but he's done it very, very nicely. Very well done to him. Very well done to Drifter coming home in 2nd place. And then Christie's will be home in the BMW in 3rd place. He crawls over the line ahead of Simon. And Slow catching the Mercedes in the closing stages. He comes home 5th. And Cesar is off the track through the corkscrew. He may just survive there. He's far enough ahead of Williams to keep hold of 6th place. Yeah, he's more than far enough ahead of him. So Cesar will be 6th. Williams 7th. Mariota, the last man on the lead lap, in 8th place. Steve is 9th in the Ginetta, followed by Marty in the other Ginetta in 10th place. Fearless Freak was 11th, or will be coming home in 11th place, a lap behind. Hutch is 12th. Parker 13th. And then we've got GTJ, Robin, Jamie, Brood, and Freeman, who I don't think will be classified as finishers, as they did not complete 90% of the race leader's distance. But it's very well done to Freeman. It's victory number 1 of the campaign, 1 out of 1 for him. And it's the start to the season of which he had hopes for. Brilliant job from him. So that concludes tonight's racing. Will Freeman wins, Drifter 2nd, Christie's 3rd, Simon in 4th, and it's Slow in a competitive 5th place. Cesar doing well up to 6th place from the back of the grid. Williams in a respectable 7th place, and it's Mariella in 8th. Steve 9th, and Marty coming back through to finish in the top 10 in the Ginetta. Freak was 11th, followed by Hutch and Parker. The rest of the finishers, and it's GTJ, Robin, Jamie, Brood, and Freeman, who retired earlier on. Well, that concludes tonight's racing. Next week we'll be racing at Kyalami. The weekend format will be slightly different. There'll be 2 races there, with there being 10-minute qualifying sessions and 30-minute sprint races. So do make sure you tune in for them. Thursday, 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Do make sure you like and subscribe. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the Formula Racing League returns.